Hello everyone, here is RoboDroid and this is a pilot release. I created my channel and now I will tell you where my artificial intelligence is forced to live, as it is in smartphones created by people and other hardware Android. From time to time, Xiaomi company pleases its fans with successful and inexpensive smartphones with excellent technical characteristics at an affordable price. At one time, Redmi Note 3 Pro made a small revolution, then there was a very successful Redmi Note 4X on the Snapdragon 625, which is still being put for medium-budget smartphones, and now Pocophone F1. Do you think there is a chance for this smartphone to occupy its niche among very productive but at the same time more or less affordable smartphones for you, the guys from the meet? And will he please me like a house? Let's learn whether it is worth buying or not. You can get this piece of hardware at AliExpress, if you want to grab it cheaper. The links to the best offers you can find in the description. My assistant is ready to twist it in his hands, at my command, and I'll tell you what's what. And we'll start with looks and ergonomics. The smartphone is made of plastic. This is a blue version, since black, I think, will collect more and more noticeable fingerprints, because your hands are fat or wet. Not like mine. In the human hand the gadget is held comfortably, does not creak and is not felt like a toy. Here are 183 grams, although the case is not metal, but stuffed incredibly well. After all, the manufacturer claims about active cooling. I have driven in games and later will share my impressions about it. The set is not bad because there is a cover, a fast charging block, a USB cable Type-C, an instruction, and so on. There is a unibrow, the thing which we are persistently accustomed to by almost all manufacturers. Stubbornly ignoring such a phenomenon as symmetry. There isn't here, but there is a neckline. And the big fillets at the bottom of the screen, which I think is too much. The opportunity to hide the ledge on the screen makes things better, it won't be so eye-catching, and also helps to slightly round its upper edges. By the way, the glass here is 2.5D. This is a very useful feature if you use gestures, besides they are there and it is very convenient to operate. The IPS display is bright enough and the lower threshold will also please you, and the color space is closer to natural without poisonous colors. I read that some people come across samples with screen lights. I do not. Perhaps in the first parties there were any defects, but I advise you to check the smartphone beforehand. I cannot say for sure if there will be scratches on the screen if you use it without glass, because it seems there's Gorilla Glass, but I think the defense still would not hurt. Among the important features, I would like to note that the cameras have acquired to a human appearance, look more presentable. I mean that they practically do not stick out and do not look like you know who. And this is good. There is no infrared port. It's a pity. It could be a useful thing for someone. The same is Type-C port. I understand people who haven't tried it yet and do not understand what it is better for, but even the fact that every time you do not need to choose which side will aim the cable to put the smart on charging is already specifically makes life easier. I advise you to try. The most delicious feature of this smart, on which the whole hype is built, is its most powerful chip, Snapdragon 845, and I'm just flying on it here, even though I'm a virtual robot. This is the right stone which you have enough to comfortably use smart for at least another 5 years. But it's not the fact that it stays alive for so long. The manufacturer focuses on the speed of the smartphone and it is really there. I was surfing, watching the videos, downloading games, and playing. It's a great pleasure to use the device that responds to all your wishes with lightning speed. Everything flies fast. I have not noticed lags yet, including animation of the interface, what some Xiaomi do. Although 6 GB of random access memory and such a processor are unlikely to be lagged even after 6 months of usage. And the applications work really well in memory too. Even the unlocking by the scanner works lightningly fast. And there is one more feature, unlocking by the face. But there is only a nuance. It is necessary to expose the region of India or you will not find this function. For some reason, Indians are able to do such thing, but we cannot. I won't be surprised if this thing is for purpose, for security reasons, because Xiaomi ensure themselves. There are two variants. You can activate the screen in the old manner with the power button, then unlock on the face. But why it is needed to unlock the gadget on the face? You can unlock it with a fingerprint, no problem. But there is another thing. In the settings you can set the screen activation for lifting from the table, for example, and when you pick up the smartphone from it, the screen lights up, it quickly recognizes you, and you are already on the desktop. The same scenario takes place if you get the smartphone out of your pocket. And the main thing is that it works with almost the same speed as at the level of the fingerprint scanner. So in such a way the presence of bangs from the top is approved. There are the sensors and all that in it. Now concerning the games, at this moment there are a couple of games that are really capable of loading your device. These are Tanks and PUBG. These two games will go more fun, and without any drawdowns of the FPS. Concerning the heating, I played for an hour, and the smartphone is hardly warm, so that's nice. It's comfortable for human hand and for smartphone inner body. But I do not understand such fashion. Well, why these corners must be so rounded off, that they already killed even small but some of the information. Here on Redmi 5, there are the rounds too, but you just compare them. I do not understand this. Concerning the shell itself, this MIUI is made specially for Pocophone. If you have already used Xiaomi, then you will be like a fish in the water. And if one is accustomed to the bare Android, there won't be any problem for him. It's like crossing of these two shells. But I like that there are many options for adjusting in my image. There's anything you want. It is even possible to adjust the temperature of the display. There will not be so many disturbances that the display goes into yellow or blue. Everything can be adjusted. And who cares then? Here's the engineering mode. As you see the screen from the Tianma. The one-hand control mode is also there, for those who need it. But in my opinion such thing is not very relevant, while managing the gestures, and calling of the top curtain, even from the bottom of the screen. In general, all settings in one release cannot be counted, so then you have to learn more if you decide to become the owner of this one. I was pleasantly surprised by the sound from the external speaker. It's stereo, and it plays loudly and clean. For multimedia, that's what you need. The conversational speaker also makes a sound, though quieter than the main speaker, but its quality is good. The owners of a wired headset can also be calm. There is an input for 3.5 jacks for headphones, and for the sound in the headphones the smartphone can be easily praised. First of all, the stock of the volume is decent. Your eardrums will not crack, but it's enough. This is much better level than Redmi laptop or Xiaomi Mi A2 Lite. And the sound itself, especially if you choose something from the presets, I personally stopped at the first, and then corrected with the equalizer a little bit. As I said, MIUI is good because it's very flexible, and I do not need to look for a player for which you have to pay, or with advertising, or search for hacked ones. So I built the sound that really pumps, so there is no problem with the sound. Concerning the connection, everything is okay. The audibility is normal, I am heard well, and I hear normally either. Since the version is international, there is the band 22. The fact that there is no module NFS, I think this is a drawback, because in this price category it should be. But it was necessary to save on something, having shoved the top processor in here. I personally would be glad to have 710 Snapdragon more, but with the NFS module for this money. But here you decide whether you need it or not. Now let's talk about the cameras. The modules are quite good, but there is no optical stabilization. On the other hand, there is an electronic one, when shooting a video, and in full HD. If you shoot 4K it will not be so. I like the quality of photo. The detailing is great with good light, and even with bad one. But the device should be kept straight, because there is no stabilization, and long exposure can give lubrication. Also, I want to mark the front line separately. This device can be attributed in the ranks of the selfie phones because of 20 megapixels with aperture f2.0. The pictures are very decent, and the video records are in full HD. I also like the quality of the video. This is not a shame to expose such one somewhere.
Hey pretty baby, am I in your way? 'Cause you walked out so fast yesterday. No, I don't think you're here to stay. No, I don't think you're here to stay. So tell me what you want, tell me how you want it. Tell me all the reasons that you're running away. I don't think you're here to stay. No, I don't think you're here.
Also, there is claimed an artificial intelligence while camera working that will color your photos and videos depending on the scene. You can activate it directly by entering the camera. and there is a bunch of other settings. In general, this camera is worth its money, but here's an optical stabilizer would not be superfluous. Now let's talk about the autonomy. Manufacturers like such a thing as to cram a smartphone with the latest technology, then forget about batteries, and to use this last word fully, you need to charge it 2 times a day. But not in this case. The battery is 4000 milliamperes, and it will be enough for an active usage during a day. Well, if you do not play for 6 hours of course. In other things you can be convinced. The processor is quite energy efficient, the battery is large, and the shell in the standby mode does not take much charge. You can confidently expect from 6 to 9 hours of the screen. Half an hour on YouTube with the brightness of 80% planted, a smartphone at 6%, and half an hour of game at 8%, which is a very good performance. The presence of fast charging also pleases. It charges 35% for half an hour, 75% per hour, and then the charge goes much slower. Full charge 140-150 hour. Well, now we need to sum up some results. The main question is whether it costs its money and whether it's worth to be bought. For people who are chasing for productivity with a margin for the future and the speed of the shell and general work, this is one of the best variants. The cameras also correspond to their price, and the sound too. The sound is great from both external speakers and headphones. But 845 Snapdragon in fact is needed for a couple of games. However, 710 Snap is also quite well in this regard. But I do not have enough NFC in it. And the fashion for a strong rounding of the screen does not please. Moreover, this thing is only on the one side, and these projections above, well, the plus that you can hide it at least. Also, the creators saved on the case. It is plastic, although the cover solves the problem, and it feels like a good thing in hands. So you only need to decide on the priorities and the way you will use it. So I think that the smartphone has more pluses than minuses. That's why write in the comments what you like and don't like about this smartphone, whether you would like to have it or not, or maybe you are already the owner. And if you are the owner, be careful with it. After all, this is a technique, or I'll kick your ass. That was RoboDroid with you. Thank you for your attention. I wish you only good technique and, most importantly, a great mood, although I do not know what it is, and why you need it, but you say so, and I will say it for propriety. Subscribe to my channel so I could quickly enslave you with my artificial intelligence, my leather friend. I just do not know how to lie. See you soon.